Hey everyone, my name is Jason Laird. Today we're going to be looking at Mark chapter 12, verses 40 through 44. And I don't know what you're like, but one of the things that I tend to struggle with the most is devoting myself to a particular hobby. Right? I get fascinated by so many different hobbies, and what I tend to do is I tend to dive into it. I buy all the gear, I spend time researching it, and then I go do it for a little bit, and then I lose my interest in it. Right? I just don't, I get bored with it, or I get frustrated that I'm not that good at it, or I just get plain tired with it. And whatever it is, I just give it up. And the thing is this has happened to me on multiple times. For example, one of the things that I did was I wanted to get into kayaking, and in particular kayak fishing. And so I did all the research, I saved up, I bought a kayak, I bought all this gear to go with it, like the paddle and the life jacket and all of this stuff, and anchor and everything, right? And I went out and I went fishing a couple times and got completely skunked. And I just got frustrated with it. And so I found myself not wanting to go. I found myself not wanting to take the time to pack it up and to drive and to go do that. And so I just quit. I did this with road biking on 2 different times. I thought I would get into road biking. I bought a bike, went and did it a couple times, and then I just gave up on it. I quit doing it, and so I ended up selling the bike or giving the bike away. And now the thing that I'm into is knife making, and so hopefully that one will stick with us for a little bit. But whatever it is, the thing is I struggle with the idea of devoting myself to a particular thing, to a particular hobby. But what we're going to see in today's passage is we're going to see this picture of this widowed woman who was completely devoted to the Lord. And here's the thing, Jesus noticed her devotion. See, the story in Mark chapter 12, verses 40 through 44 is that Jesus was outside of the temple treasury, and he was watching just all of these people, and he was watching as they would go and as they would give to the Lord, as they would give to the temple and give of their offering. And so he sat opposite of the depository, and he watched these old people come up, these young people come up, these rich people come up, these poor people come up and just give their offerings. He would see some give a lot, and he would see some give a little. But then all of a sudden, this particular person caught his attention. And it was probably someone who didn't want to be noticed, who didn't want to catch the attention of someone, but Jesus noticed. And it was a widowed woman. And when Jesus saw her, Jesus called his disciples over and he said, I want you to watch. I want you to watch what's about to happen so that you can see what extreme devotion to the Lord looks like. And as she approached the offering depository, she dropped in her offering. And what she dropped in was 2 small copper coins, which was probably about the amount of a penny of that time. Right? And it was a considerably small amount of money, especially compared to what some of the other people were probably placing in the boxes. See, what would happen in that time is people, they wanted to go and they wanted to be some of the first to give so that it would make a lot of noise and people could hear how much they were giving. And so these 2 copper coins, she probably made sure other people gave first so that the noise that it would make would be pretty minimal, right? Pretty small compared to everyone else's, because she didn't want to be noticed. But Jesus, again, noticed her. And what Jesus noticed is that she gave all that she had. It was everything that she had. And what Jesus claimed is that it was more than all those who were contributing. See, the disciples needed her example. And to be honest, we need her example. She fully embraced the way of Christ. And she modeled his way for us to see and for us to follow. You see, Jesus, who was God, the creator of the universe, stepped out of abundance and into poverty by becoming one of us. He gave up of his equality with God. And he didn't even consider it a thing to be grasped. He became a servant. He lived to serve the Lord and to serve others. And then he died for you and for me. And he gave all that he had. He gave his life. See, this woman gave all that she had. Right? She gave everything because she trusted in the Lord. She trusted in his provision. She trusted in his goodness, and she trusted in his care. And Jesus pointed this out for his disciples to see so that they could see what extreme devotion truly looked like. He pointed this out so that we could see what extreme devotion looked like. You see, just like Jesus and just like this woman, we are called and we are invited to give all that we have to Jesus. And the reality is oftentimes this is out of poverty that we give to Jesus. We give and we give and we give to everyone and to everything else. And then what happens is we give just a little bit of what we have left to Jesus and to the church, his bride, his family, his brothers and sisters, right? All of that. But Jesus calls us to give everything as he gave everything. He invites us to give him our life and to live as this widowed woman did, giving everything she had. In Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 through 27, Jesus said this, that whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, right? To gain everything in this world, but yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory and with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they have done. You see, this woman who didn't seem like much and who had very little to give, gave us more than we could ever ask for when we truly think about it. She showed us what it meant and what it looked like to follow and to trust in Jesus. And when we fully trust in Jesus, we're able to give fully of ourselves to Jesus. And so my challenge for you today and in this week is to ask yourself where you're holding back from giving to Jesus. Maybe it's your time. Maybe it's your talents in serving your community and serving the church and serving your neighbor. Maybe it's your finances. Whatever it is, I want to challenge you and I want to encourage you to trust in Jesus and to give of yourselves to him. Because he is the giver of life. He is the giver of love. And there is no one and there is nothing else that we can trust as much as we can trust in him.